Now, let's speak more on this. Let's talk to a legal practitioner, Olayinka Ola Daniels. He joins us live via Zoom from Lagos. Now, but let's also get more on this from our correspondent, our judiciary correspondent, Naira, who joins us via Zoom from Abuja. Let me start with you, Celestina. Give us more update as to the proceedings today in court, at the Supreme Court.
Okay, Precious, it was an ex parte application brought by three state governments, Kogi, Kaduna, and Zamfara states. They saw the urgency at which the Supreme Court needed to intervene in the situations of Nigeria, which is why they brought down motion ex parte. And they prayed the court to grant the relief sought, one of which is the fact that the use of the old Naira notes, the 200, the 500, and the 1000, is not the stop for now, because a lot of things have happened in recent times. So what the court said, yes, it is important that Nigerians are able to exercise their right to buy things, to bank, and also go about their various duties. So the court said that the use of the Naira notes, the old 200, 500, and 1000 Naira notes, should be extended, and it is in fact extended from February 10th, which was the deadline given by the CBN. So whenever the motion or notice brought by the three state governments is heard and determined, and the court was adjourned till Wednesday next week.
So let's just get an explanation, first of all, from our legal practitioner, Olayinka Daniels. Let me bring you in, because one of the things, one of the statements from this judgment is, it almost sounds as though this is a temporary judgment, whilst people are already rejoicing, because there is a part that says, pending the determination of a notice or notice in respect to the issue on February the 15th. Give us your legal explanation of this.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you for having me. When an interim order is given, is for a short time, and pending the subsisting as the main suit, which the Supreme Court has made clear to all. Okay, there's an order, there's an interim order, which probably, at least interim order will take 14 days. But now that we have the deadline of 10th of February, and the interim order and the main matter is coming up, the next adjourned date is on the 15th. So what Supreme Court has said is, everything remains status quo. Let all currency remain legal tender till when the main matter is determined. So by 15, if they are unable to determine the main matter by 15, it means that this same order continues till the time, because what Supreme Court basically said, till when this matter is determined, that is what that temporary order is for. And Section 235 of the 1999 Constitution is clear on any decision of the Supreme Court. It is final, except for any mercy prerogative of the president or governor. Any decision of the Supreme Court, it's final. So as we speak, this matter is extended. So the deadline for now is void ab initio. The deadline cannot hold because the Supreme Court has made a pronouncement on his ruling, the interim order to state that.
But Mr. Olayinka, does that also mean that the judgment could change on February the 15th? That perhaps we could have a different judgment from the court, and this is just temporary, even though people are rejoicing at the moment?
It's very possible. It's very possible. Most times when you see a temporary judgment like that, an interim judgment like that, is to save the face of everyone, all the parties, particularly if it's not going to cause any havoc, is to save and to make justice is done, not just to rush into anything. So the time being expected to consider right now is not going to jeopardize any policies or any movement of anybody, but that does not mean that the main suit, at the end of the main suit, does not mean that it may go this side or the other side. So it depends on the argument of different parties in court. So the court will critically look at that. If you look at this particular interim order, you can see that it was a unanimous decision of the Supreme Court. So the same, we may have same unanimous decision, we may have the sentence decision.
So Mr. Olayinka, let me put you on hold. There's a question I really wanted to ask you about. I know 5 political parties have also took the matter to the FCT High Court, but I want to get an update from Celestina. Celestina, give us an update on that as well, because this case is also in the lower court as well.
Well, Precious, as it stands, that ruling, I would say, of the Federal High Court has no relevance because the Supreme Court takes precedence. As the lawyer has said, the Supreme Court is supreme. Though the five political parties that went to court were in support of the policy, the currency redesign, and the deadline set by the CBN, which they urged the court to grant that the CBN should not extend the deadline from on the 10th, due to the reasons of it going to curb money laundering, insecurity, banditry. But the senior advocate at the Supreme Court, they told the court about the overriding interest of the Nigerian populace. Some persons in their local government don't have banks, and they have to travel kilometers before they could access bank or ATM. So what happens to those people in rural area? Some persons cannot go to the market. Like myself, I have just 2,000 Naira cash. I cannot go to the market, say I want to buy tomatoes and other groceries, because those market women, some don't even have bank accounts. You cannot transfer for them when you're purchasing something of 400 Naira or 500 Naira. So if you look at it, and even the new currency that is in circulation, Nigerians still don't have access to it, because most ATMs you go dispense as low as 1,000 Naira or 20,000 Naira. And even that 20,000 Naira, the queues are massive. So it's a whole lot. So what does ex parte motion seeks to address is all these issues that have been happening in the past few days.
Listen, you say you have 2,000. I can tell you that you're richer than me and most Nigerians at the moment. You're the big girl amongst all of us right now. Thank you for the update. Our correspondent, Celestina, we are live for us in Abuja. So let me come back to you, Mr. Olayinka Daniels, and I want to speak on this particular issue of the five political parties that have taken the matter to the FCT High Court. Now, they have secured an order banning the federal government and the CBN from extension of the deadline. What happens to that particular judgment now? And then are we going to have a situation where we're also having conflicting judgments on this particular matter?
Okay, what is clear. You know, one thing about it, this is a federal high court judgment. Now, if this matter is not appealed, it means that that judgment remains in federal high court. Now, the governors of Kogi, Zamfara, and Kaduna, the government, they are so smart because they saw that coming. So they are smart, and don't forget that when it comes to state government and federal government, it has to be the first in time is the Supreme Court. So they are so smart to go to Supreme Court to obtain that order. Now, on this other political parties that have gone to federal court, the judgment remains there because it cannot, I repeat, take precedence over Supreme Court judgment. And Supreme Court judgment, whether it's ruling, any decision of the Supreme Court is final. Pending the time, or pending the time they will have the main matter being heard. So right now, as we speak, the judgment of the Federal High Court remain with the Federal High Court and cannot go beyond that. Even if there is, let's assume without conceding, let's even say there's an appeal from the other parties, and they go to Court of Appeal. By the time they get to Court of Appeal and they still want to proceed, there's already a judgment in Supreme Court. And because what they are saying, they took to court, what these political parties took to court is to say that do not extend any further, let this thing remain, let the decisions of this policy of the central bank and federal government, let it remain the way it is. There should not be any extension. Meanwhile, Supreme Court has cleared that already. They have said that right now, everything remains status quo, no deadline whatsoever is allowed as we speak. Let all Nairas remain legal tenders till further notice, till when we will finish the subsisting matter in court. So there is nothing the judgment of that Federal High Court can do. As far as we are concerned, is just a water and not of any effect to the judgment of the Supreme Court.
You know, what really matters to Nigerians now is not even this judgment, is the availability of the Naira, whether the old or the new one. They just want to have access to it. Thank you so much for talking to us. I'm legal practitioner Olayinka Daniels.
Thank you, Father.
Now from the